So the mission of our school really is to empower learners so that they can become more involved in their educational experience and then to be prepared for the real world after graduation, whether that's college or career. So we're looking for students who are wanting to be engaged in their learning, who want hands-on learning, who don't want the traditional lecture style, sit in rows, sit and get kind of learning, and kids who are really interested in being involved in their environment with their facilitators and with other students. When they leave here, they have real-world skills. So they're usually asked questions that are driving questions that pertain to things that are of interest to their learning. It gives them some voice in what they're wanting to do. It pushes their learning a little bit, and it gets them more involved than a typical school would.
I think project-based learning is a pretty cool way of learning, especially in the fact that you are all hands-on, and for a kid like me who is a kid who needs to be hands-on, who cannot just sit in class and listen, has to do things, it helps with having a better mindset and having a better learning and understanding of the work that we are being presented with.
So students right now are working on rocks and minerals as a part of their TC3 Geology 101 unit. So we do concurrent enrollment with TC3, and part of that includes credit for a geology course. So our students right now are creating rock and mineral outcrop backgrounds. So they're actually, this is an art part of the project that we're in right now, but they're creating a background that is mimicking a rock outcrop that you may find naturally in New York State. Painting this on part of a fabric square, and then we're adding a mineral pigment on top of it. The mineral pigment is actually derived from minerals that have been broken down and painted on by the students. And our goal at the end of this is that we're going to stitch them all together and make kind of a large quilt out of it. So, beautiful. Cool.
Today I get to present on a current event in my statistics, economics, and government class, and I'm really excited for that.
Move left or right, and each group will share one thing.
Can we start over here?
We can absolutely start over here because we start over there a lot.
Wait, who's ready, Alyssa?
So right now we're reading a graphic novel related to revolutions, and so we wanted students to use their knowledge that they're gaining from English on how graphic novels work, how they tell a story, how artists and the authors combine their work to get a point across. And we thought that representing the historical revolutions that they need to know for the regions was a great way to kind of combine both subjects.
So what I did is what led up to the American Revolution, and after the Declaration of Independence was signed, and after the American Revolution.
Toussaint Louverture. He constantly went back and forth between siding with France and Britain and fighting for his freedom. So he's a very difficult character to work with, but he was very big in the eventual revolt of the slaves.
There was one project where it got so big where we spent an entire class period talking about the largest projects we could ever think of. Like, one of them was how we could create a solar system ride at Disney World. And we spent an entire entire class period talking about it. And really that was just to open up our minds more, and I think that was a lot of the kind of that point of like, oh my gosh, there's actually no box that we're in anymore.
We're making a video where there's two groups, the boys working together and me and Megan are working together, and we're making videos about our past selves and our future selves talking to each other.
At the same time?
At the same time, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind
In
of
Spanish.
It's all in Spanish, yeah.
It's kind of a mind buster.
So within science, we have a ton of vocab that we go through, and learning how to use that vocabulary is critical for the field of science. And applying that certainly on the Regents exams as we prepare for those, but working with that vocabulary on a regular basis is something that we're being very intentional about. Particularly this year, we're using more targeted literacy-based strategies, And that's kind of our second level of getting into that vocab and understanding not just their definitions, but what is the relationship between those words. How do we make sense of it? So by doing concept mapping, they're able to create their own relationships that works for their brain.
This is creative reading and writing. Students have the option of either designing an independent reading project or an independent creative writing project. They work on that, which they're doing now, and then they share that work with the class. I'm teaching some college-based courses that don't allow for creative writing or even for fiction reading. And a lot of the standards don't kind of require that now. So I like that students have the opportunity just to explore things creatively in this class. And if they're not writers, they can explore reading. And if they want writers or they're aspiring writers, they can explore that. So I think it's a fun space for that.
So this is my project. I'm gonna put like so I'm gonna put my egg in that and fill it with Jello, and then I'm gonna put, and then I'm gonna seal this up and put that thing in it, and then I'm gonna fill it with cotton. So when I drop it, it'll be protected by the Tupperware will be protected by the cotton, and the egg will hopefully also be protected by the Jello that's inside, because it will be suspended in the Jello.
Very cool.
Yes, very cool.
Five, 4, 3, 2,